3, 2, 1, match begins. Player 1 has entered the game. You are on red.
Oh wow, this looks amazing. Graphics are awesome. Wow.
Player 2 has entered the game. You are on blue.
Ah shit. Fucking controls. Oh, it's too sensitive. These controls are far too fucking sensitive. What am I doing? Oh, for fuck's sake. Need to get hold of this. Shit.
Where are they? Where the fuck are they? Where are they?
Okay, I've got a pistol at the moment. I wonder what other guns I could get. Or maybe a shotgun. Or a rocket launcher. Oh, that'd be so cool.
Oh, I fucking hate noobs.
Oh fuck, isn't this supposed to be deathmatch? Isn't there someone else supposed to be in here with me? Oh shit!
First blood.
What are you doing, noob? Get your head in the fucking game!
Oh, fucker! Right, that's it.
If you were like me and you grew up in the 90s, then you know that the expansion and experimentation of video game genres was already well underway, with the creation of genres that we know and love to this modern day. 3D graphics began to appear in the early to mid 90s, and with them came the creation of an exciting new genre, the first-person shooter. Oh man, this was revolutionary. So you have to remember, in this period of time, 3D graphics have never been done in this way before. Really, we were only used to like 2D sprites sort of things with like Mega Man and stuff on an NES or like SNES, or an actual top-down perspective like you would get with Metal Gear Solid, for instance. This will change with the release of Wolfenstein 3D for the MS-DOS. I don't really know where to begin. I don't think anything was really done like this before with any video games. Wolfenstein had a reasonably coherent plot, bosses, an emphasis on moving quickly in order to achieve bonus points for more lives, conserving health and ammunition, awesome map layout, areas concealed that held treasure, weapons and health. The first-person shooter games didn't start with Wolfenstein 3D. Or even the original Castle Wolfenstein. I did a bit of research. The very first-person shooter was Maze Wars, with kind of true 3D graphics using wireframes, although the monsters are actually these triangle pyramid things. This is the actual game. I'm playing it in DOSBox and it's not very easy. You can really get the idea that this was built with an actual arcade machine in mind rather than mouse and keyboard. So this will give you an idea. So at the top there you can see all the different controls and stuff. Left click on the mouse moves forward. Right click on the mouse moves back, I and D increase and decrease speed respectively, but if you wish to shoot and kill the monsters, which you have to do if you want to leave, then you need to hold down both mouse buttons. It's not very easy because obviously you're constantly adjusting your movement when you're trying to shoot, and the rate of fire is quite high, so it's very automatic. Basically, if you lose all of those bullets, you've lost the game if you don't kill all the monsters. Very difficult. Considering that it was made in the 70s, I suppose I can kind of give them a bit of an allowance, but for today's standards, definitely not very good. So we've covered the start of first-person shooters, the massive popularization of first-person shooters, run and gun style supported gameplay, along with weapon pickups, health pickups, armor pickups, ammo pickups, and a variety of other things, as well as the fast-paced gameplay itself that, you know, sort of like continues the speed of the actual game and gives it the sort of characteristic rush. Okay, so we've got those concepts out of the way, we need to actually talk about the game itself, which is Doom. Built and modelled heavily on the gameplay and engine of Wolfenstein 3D, Doom boasted a kick-ass story and setting that had been covered before, but never with the pseudo 3D graphics that were pioneered by ID Software in Wolfenstein 3D and then improved in Doom. It also had the infrastructure to network play built into the game, and that is the concept that we are most concerned with in this video. This means that people could actually play deathmatches, so arguably Doom became the first game that we can recognise today as an arena shooter. Let's fast forward a few years to the games that put tournament, gladiator style deathmatch and other game modes on the map: Quake 3 Arena and Unreal Tournament. Released roughly within 3 months of one another and both with the collective weight of hugely popular franchises behind them, they defined what the arena shooter genre was truly meant to be. On one hand, Quake 3 Arena was a hyperactive death arena with railguns, red fog of death, brown, grey sort of colour scheme, and jump pads and all this sort of cool stuff, as well as like, you know, huge hyperactive speed that you just like couldn't get in any other game. It was kind of reminiscent of Doom in that sense. Unfortunately, I don't really have any sort of gameplay that I can sort of characterize with, I suppose. because I don't have it. Well, I do have it, I have a hard copy, but unfortunately my operating system doesn't run it, so I'm not going to try and figure out how to get it to work because it's going to give me a headache. Frankly, I could buy it on GOTY.com, but I'm not going to spend £15 to get a copy of a game that I've already got. Unreal Tournament, on the other hand, was slightly slower paced with more expansive arenas, fully integrated modded support, and an actual attempt at some form of exposition for story. Not to mention Lava, fantastic AI for the computer-controlled players, and Giblets. Both games became critically acclaimed and experienced massive growth and success as a result, becoming included in esports events and garnering a massive following online at the websites such as GNarlyCity.com, Beyond Unreal, and the Adrenaline Vault. I remember going to these sites when I was a kid with map packs built from the ground up by other members of the community in the Unreal editor packaged with the base game. Maps like Burger Wars, Cityscape, Urban Arena, and a variety of others were just superb. Between the two, I would probably say that Unreal Tournament came out on top, at least for me, if only for the rich and vibrant modding and building scene that was in no way stifled by Epic Games. Don't get me wrong, Quake was fantastic, but I'm an Unreal guy through and through, and it always seemed to me that Quake just sort of disappeared. It's not to say that Unreal Tournament didn't suffer either, it actually started to become more Quake-like over time, with an increase in general gameplay speed, but it maintained the focus on being an actual tournament, where you had to manage a roster of players that I've actually considered to be quite cool, and the inclusion of Onslaught, a gameplay mode with vehicles. While I preferred the movement style and speed of gameplay in Unreal Tournament 99 and the original Unreal Engine, I still sunk an enormous amount of hours into the game and enjoyed myself immensely while playing it. The single player mode was especially good, with the opportunity for bot matches to practice for multiplayer games to an actual story that made sense for the game. You're a fighter in the Grand Leandri tournament. You fought for money and eventually has become good enough to form a team of hopefuls in the pool. You hired people with the credits that you had. You could challenge and be challenged by other teams in grudge matches, and you had to manage your teammates. It was great. You even got a bonus for performing different streaks like multi-kills and killing sprees. You get like bonus credits and stuff. It was awesome. Then 2007 came along and the dark times were ushered in. Okay, maybe it wasn't that bad, but it was a huge departure from the previous Unreal Tournament games and that killed it for me. Let me tell you why. They dropped a few types of game modes that added a lot of variety to the previous games such as Assault, Onslaught and Bombing Run, along with a frankly ridiculous campaign that made no sense in the setting. You'd be fighting within arenas using power-ups and weapon pickups that would clearly be appearing on spawners, and they invented some type of ridiculous half-assed rationalization of why they're there and why all the maps are clearly meant to be arenas in the setting of a campaign. The plot itself is very rarely explained. The Kroll make an appearance fighting for the Necris, when in the game lore they're supposed to be enslaved by the Sky, and it just feels wrong. And don't even get me started on the characters, they literally just walked out of Gears of War. Reaper's a cut and paste blank, gruff hero with about as much personality and character virtues as a teaspoon. Jester's a typically happy-go-lucky kid sister who's always getting into trouble to provide plot development for Reaper. And Othello, he's the fucking Coltrane. He's exactly the same. The model is the same, the voice character is the same, everything is the same. The models look and feel the same as Gears, from clunky ass boots to the bowling ball arms. The colour palette is practically the same, with reds, browns, blacks and greys just thrown together to create a riot of drab, boring looking scenery. The blood just, it looks like Gears. It's iridescent, it catches the light, comes out as gobbets of disappointment. The engine itself feels sluggish, the characters have a real sense of weight behind them, which is good, I suppose, so they dip when they deal with the blow from landing on the ground, but it feels wrong, like it slows down the game. Any actual impact to the game speed isn't something that I've noticed as such, it just feels more like a psychological thing. Honestly, if I wanted to play Gears of War, I'd play Gears of War. The weapons are pretty over detailed too, whatever, it was a bad game and anyone who disagrees with me is wrong or has inexplicably bad taste. Now we're moving on. So Epic spent a few years recovering from the damage they inflicted upon themselves with Gears of Tournament, and now they have decided to take a slightly different path. With the pre-release and building of Unreal Tournament 4 in conjunction with the online community, they finally seem to be getting back on track. Having tried it a few times fully online, I can say that while at the moment, being in pre-alpha it's a bit ugly and rough looking, they've done a sterling job with the multiplayer aspect in the maps, with the famous Facing Worlds map back in. And no shitty ass abbreviations for flags as field generators or whatever bollocks they brewed up in the last game. This is it, it's gonna be good. And it's pre-packaged with an editing kit to allow for maximum creativity with a minimum of fuss. Check this out, so you can install the editor for free through the Epic Games launcher. You can check out tutorials on how to create aesthetic items all the way to full-on arenas and maps. Literally every bit of information is freely available and there is so much support, including forums. I honestly can't go on without gushing, so I'll move on from this point, but needless to say, I'm very excited about the future of this game and I really hope they don't mess this up. However, just because Unreal Tournament 4 looks good, feels great, is built from the ground up to be friendly for casual and professional developers and modders, doesn't mean it will be without competition. Team Fortress 2 is built along the same basic principles, although there are marked differences between the two in terms of core gameplay mechanics. Team Fortress 2 is built around the synergies inherent in the class system, with each class performing differently in the roles built for them. but with players being given the flexibility to change class to deal with an external threat. This is achievable upon respawning. Unreal Tournament, on the other hand, clearly has no system like this. Like Team Fortress 2, Unreal Tournament is free. The developers have gone to great lengths to reinforce that statement. Getting back on track and to summarise, we've gone over where arena shooters have come from to some length. We've also given a good idea about whereabouts they're going and the free-to-play model that they're aiming at using, at least with regard to Team Fortress 2 and Unreal Tournament. So let's talk about whether or not arena shooter games have a future compared to their main competitors. So I'm going to be developing a little bit psychologically here because I think I have a theory that I can use. So as pure arena shooters have generally been declining in popularity in terms of format from Unreal Tournament 3 and its short-lived success, FPS games with online multiplayer have been moving away from the jump in and fight format, where everyone starts equal and collects weapons in map, and you need skills to be good at the game, to a more long-run investment style. So what do I mean by this? Well, if you take examples from the two biggest franchises in the world, Call of Duty and Battlefield, at least in terms of FPS, you will of course see similarities of how the games play. The most striking of these, and the feature that I most consider to encourage long, consistent gameplay, is the level up system. Look at it like this: you're given clear, defined goals of unlocking weapons and perks that you can aim to achieve, something that doesn't happen in a classic arena shooter. Okay, so here I'm going to be talking a little bit about psychology, so stay with me. It's going to get a little bit of explaining, but it should make sense. In Call of Duty, you have challenges and achievements to earn and weapons and perks to gain. If you're a good player, then clearly you will earn points from killing enemies and completing objectives. Anybody who plays or has knowledge of Call of Duty knows that. However, players who are bad, who may only get a few kills per game or focus entirely on objective play, can still be given an incentive to continue playing and continuing to invest time, regardless of not achieving many kills. It's the process of working towards a higher level or a higher weapon that provides these players with their satisfaction. Operant conditioning works like this. Behaviour that results in a positive outcome is more likely to be repeated because the idea of a positive outcome will be reinforced, conditioned if you will, into the recipient. Arena shooters on the other hand have a much lower rewards based system. Check this out for a theory. Arena shooters like Unreal Tournament allow for immediate gameplay with no content locked by levels or in-game currency. You spawn into the match and then you can play, pick up whatever weapons that you find and get fighting. Therefore, it's incredibly easy to hop into a game without being at an intrinsic disadvantage built into the game like with Call of Duty or Battlefield, like a perk system or different easier to use weapons. Therefore, compared to games like Call of Duty, arena shooters have a low barrier to entry because everyone spawns in the game very equally. However, this also means that the reward based gameplay is extremely limited to kills and eventual victory or defeat. Therefore, in an environment where you are all equal, skill comes out on top, and that means that the less skillful players are going to be out of their depth, and at the very least they'll struggle to hold their weight against a more skilled player, therefore disincentivizing them from continuing to play, therefore giving them no reason to try hard if they fail. The high skill ceiling of arena shooter games stands against it massively when attempted to draw in a regular player base. Therefore, the very way that arena shooters are structured is not conducive to developing a large player audience. Okay then, so we've covered why arena shooters might be failing, and honestly, why they seem to just be tanking. So the good players are too good, the bad players are not good enough, and they've got no reason to really stay around, so there's no level up system or anything like that inherent in the game, like there is in something like Call of Duty. So they seem to be doomed to failure, so are they? Have no fear, my brolos and broettes. Yes, arena shooters do have a way out. So take Team Fortress 2 as a big example. It's a very well established game. It did start out as pay to play, but now it is in fact free to play. It does have some microtransactions in it. They've got the hat thing. I don't know what that's going on about, but whatever. So it's free to play with microtransactions, and the way it seems to be structured is the same way that I think Unreal Tournament 4 is also attempting to be structured. At the very least, it could benefit from looking at that structure itself. So cosmetic skins are a vanity thing. You can get those in Team Fortress 2, but you can also get things like packs and unlocks and that sort of thing. It doesn't affect the game in any way, and for a free-to-play game, I think that is a great way of actually really sort of getting people to continue playing. So the difference between Team Fortress 2 and Unreal Tournament is that with Unreal Tournament, you can make your player your own player, basically. Whereas in free-to-play games, take Heroes of the Storm for example as well, you become attached to these particular characters and their actual characterizations and roles, and the very expensive premium skins that you can buy that change them completely are often the more interesting ones. So that could be a way to sort of keep it up. The difference with Unreal Tournament is that because you can customize them yourself, they become your character. So if you can unlock packs, for instance, like say in CSGO or something like that, then that could be another way to sort of, like, you know, maintain it and keep the servers up. And if you recall as well, Unreal Tournament also allows you the ability to create your own skins, to create mods and stuff. One of the skins in particular is actually a hat vanity item that if you buy it, the pot of money actually goes towards a tournament, so that becomes tournament prize money. So that could be another incentive to also buy it as well. So yeah, you know, I mean, there are ways of actually being able to keep it alive like that, I suppose. And that also gives you an incentive to continue playing, because then you can play with something that is your own character. Okay then guys, that about wraps everything up from me really. That's all that I really wanted to talk about. So in this video I spoke about whereabouts arena shooters came from, whereabouts they're going to, whether or not I think that the new Unreal Tournament will be able to survive in this day and age, and if so, what business practices would probably be best for them. That's pretty much it, yeah. So obviously this is quite a wide subject and I may have missed stuff, so if you have anything to add or anything like that, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your take on the subject, and I'd love to start a dialogue with you as well. That's pretty much it. Hello guys, thank you very much for watching my video. If you like this video and you want to see more, then please do subscribe. It really helps me out and keeps me chipper. And you can also like this video and leave a comment if you have anything that you want to talk about. Also, you can check out one of my other videos by clicking on these handy videos here, or just subscribing to my channel and then just going on the video uploads and stuff. Also, you can check out all my other social networks where I do behind the scenes stuff, as well as just interacting with people at Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube respectively. Please click on one of those. Actually, don't click on one of those because it only has a link on it, but follow the link anyway, it'll be great. I shall catch you in the next video. Take care, and again, thank you very much for watching. It's really cool of you. I'm Pure Ben, and I'll see you in the next video.